Hello first graders, welcome to another read aloud out here in my backyard. It is a nice breezy day, but it is fairly warm, so I'm enjoying myself. If you get the chance to, go outside and read a book. It would be awesome. I'm going to read you another science book today just because they're fun. And this one is called A Place for Pluto. So I hope you enjoy it. For the better part of forever, Pluto was a planet, one of the famous 9. He was the smallest and the farthest from the sun, but he was proud just the same. So we have Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and way up here, Pluto. When I was little, Pluto was a planet, so he was one of those famous 9 for me. Then one day, Saturn with her rings flashing, and Jupiter with his entourage of moons behind him, told Pluto the worst news ever. You're not a planet anymore. You're just not big enough. Sorry. Even though Pluto orbited around the sun and was mostly round, the creatures on Earth decided he was too small. But I'm in all the school books. It's time to rewrite history. I don't have time for this. I've got visitors to prepare for. Pluto was crushed. He tried to protest, but it was no use. Right here it says, Pluto belongs, not fair, stand with Pluto. Feeling sad and rejected, Pluto left with Charon and his other 4 moons by his side to find his place in the galaxy. As Pluto moved along, his friend Halley's comet streaked past. Haven't seen you in a while. Yeah, I get that a lot. Halley was a comet and still a part of the solar system, but comets have tails, and Pluto did not. Pluto wasn't a comet or a planet. He was a nobody. Feeling more blue than brown, Pluto kept moving. When Pluto saw Gem, Percy, and Ori crashing in as dusty, rocky comet tails, he wondered if he could join them. The meteoroids were always having fun and clowning around. This time, they were trying to smash into Earth. You should try this, Pluto. No, thanks. Earth is kind of like a mother to me. Then Ida the asteroid orbited by. Pluto and Ida were nearly the same size. Pluto thought he'd finally figured out his true identity. Hey Ida, do you mind if I join you for a spin in the asteroid belt? Wish you could, Pluto, but the rulebook says rocks only. You know asteroids are rocks, right? Pluto wasn't a planet or a comet or an asteroid. He missed being a planet. He missed his old friends. He missed feeling like he belonged. Too small to be a planet, too big to be a rock. I used to fit in here, but now I do not. No one in the solar system was a match for Pluto. He spun around the sun like everyone else, but he wasn't a planet or a comet or an asteroid or a meteoroid. Pluto had nowhere to turn. He was about to give up when he saw someone he'd never seen before. He felt like he was looking in a mirror. Pardon me if I sound rude, but what are you? I'm a dwarf planet. My name is Eris, and these are my friends, Haumea, Makemake, and Ceres. Pluto stared in wonder at the 4 dwarf planets. They were too small to be planets, but too big to be rocks. They were not planets or comets or asteroids or meteoroids. They were just like him. You're just who I've been searching for. Really? Then you should join us. Pluto felt more like himself than ever before. He couldn't wait to tell his old friends about his new ones. Turns out his old friends missed him too. We're sorry, Pluto. Just because you're not a planet anymore doesn't mean we don't love you. Pluto was over the moon. He was a part of the solar system with friends, both old and new. He smiled at an intergalactic smile that was just out of this Milky Way. Let's celebrate with some chocolate. These feelings warm me to the core. I can feel the love. You all make me dizzy. Dwarf Planet has a nice ring to it. I'm so glad you're making friends, honey. Glad you're not feeling blue anymore. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Way to go, little man. Till we meet again. Dwarf planets rock. Neighbors forever. So, the cool thing about this is also a fictional book that is based on fact. And in 1930, Pluto was discovered, and it was considered a planet. Like I said, when I was in school growing up, Pluto was a planet. Like, that was one of the planets that you listed when you were listing all the planets. But in the year 2006, Pluto was told it wasn't a planet anymore. And it decided, scientists decided that in order for an entity to be a planet in the solar system, it had to orbit around the sun. It had to have a round shape, which Pluto had both of those. But then it had to be able to clear its own orbit by pulling asteroids toward itself, making the asteroids part of the planet. Pluto does not do this. So, because of that, they downgraded it to a dwarf planet. So it's kind of a smaller version of a planet now. But that really did happen. I love how they take this factual story and they turn it into a fictional story with characters so that you can kind of get an idea of how Pluto might have felt. I hope you liked this book. I hope maybe you learned something that you didn't know before. And I will see you for another Read Aloud soon. Keep reading, friends.